Hey, family, Sister Bridge speaks, and I'm Sister Bridge. And I want to share with you four things that having a plant based diet and a plant based lifestyle will do for you, and what it's done for me. Number one, it will eliminate inflammation throughout your body. Number two, it will make you have more cognizance. Number three, it will help you to eliminate toxins. And number four, give you beautiful skin. So I'm going to be very brief because I'm going to be talking about this, from time to time, a lot. So what I want to just tell you this, the inflammation, before I tell you how it eliminates that, I'm going to tell you my experience with inflammation. I used to have arthritis in all my joints. It was something that ran in our family. My mother had arthritis, my sisters, all of them, arthritis, tendonitis, and every other kind of itis. Okay, Arthur he was running rampant in our family. Charlie, all of that, and he, um, it was to the point where when I was like in my 30s, I thought I was going to need a knee replacement. That's how bad it was when I was in my early 30s, because that's when I decided to become vegetarian. But I've upgraded to plant-based, and I'll talk about that, the difference between vegetarian and plant-based. But even with being vegetarian, I saw a tremendous difference, and that was 30 years ago. Food is so much different even now than it was back then. It was better back then than it is today. So, um, you know, that was just what happens in our family. Up until I became vegan, I realized there was things that, and then I suffered. I was in car accidents and got banged up here and banged up there, and so I couldn't even open up a bottle of a jar of mayonnaise, or I do vegan mayonnaise, but jar of mayonnaise, pickles, whatever. My husband, he's not vegan, so he still eats everything. He eats what I prepare for him. He'll eat my way, but he still eats everything. So just so you know. So if you ever see me in the store and I'm buying something that's not vegan, I'm buying it for my husband. Just so you know. So, but anyway, when I tried to open up a jar, I couldn't do it, especially late at night or early in the mornings. My joints would ache so bad. It would just be, I would be in a lot of pain in my finger joints, in my knee joints, and even, and believe it or not, even in my hip, my thigh and my hip. I mean, it would be horrible. I thought, oh my God, am I going to need a hip replacement in my 40s and 50s? Well, like I said, that was in my 30s with my knees, but um, I became a vegan. I tried it about 15 years ago, and it was great. And it helps with your immune system too, but that's another thing. But that's very important. But so I tried it, and everything, all my ailments went away, and I became vegetarian. It's like they were slowly trying to creep back in, and I'm not understanding why. But anyway, so when I became a vegan this last time in July of 2020, and I've been vegan ever since, none of, no inflammation in my body, none whatsoever. Um, and I'm going to tell you why, how food, work does what it does. But so no inflammation in my body, and then I said cognizance. Oh my God, they always say, as you get older, sometimes even in your 30s, you start forgetting things, right? And I I, I was no different than anybody else. I wore prescription glasses, and I'm not wearing them now. Haven't worn them in years, but I would tell you, I have my glasses on my eyes, and was like, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Looking frantically for my glasses, and they're on my face. Looking for my cell phone and it's in my hand. Just looking for things, or go in the room. go go from downstairs to upstairs or upstairs to downstairs or just in a different room and forget why you went in there and can't remember. That was the sad thing. Couldn't even remember. I mean, you've just forgot. I just forgot. But now that doesn't happen. And I guarantee you when it does happen, which is rare, I remember instantly. My brain, I'm remembering things that I used to forget, you know. Also, I was saying the elimination. Okay, when I was eating chicken, because I stopped eating the meats a long time ago. And I only ate pork for about a year, a little over a year in my life. And that was because of the religion I'm in. We don't believe in eating certain foods because of um, the Levitical diet, which we believe still applies today. On clean meats and unclean meats and stuff like that. But it's just because we scientific had also said that these things are not helpful and not are not healthy for your bodies, like pork. Okay, pork has a trichomonas worm that you cannot, no matter how you cook it, boil it, whatever, it still could be in your in the pig. And everyone that knows about pork knows that if you leave pork out in the hot sun, it will literally turn into maggots. But anyway, but at the time, and I knew that because I was raised not to eat it. But when I got older, I wanted to eat it. I did, and I ate it. And I loved me some bacon, pork bacon. I loved me some well, mostly the pork bacon. I didn't go into the chitlins and the ham and all that, but I loved the pork bacon. It was so hard to get off of that. It was really hard. I liked the pork chops was okay. I'm trying to think what else pork did I used to eat, but not too much. But I still ate pork, okay. And at that time, as I was just was grown out of my mother's home, and you know, at that time married to a different man, but I was a very young um, lady, and I wanted to eat it. I wanted to try it, and I did. And so I know how tempting it is, and I know how delicious it tastes and everything, but not for me. Okay. And one time I also ate some shrimp by mistake. And then shrimp salad. You talk about some delicious food. Oh my goodness, it was delicious. When I found out what it was, and I was out, I wasn't even in the church then. I left the church for a couple of years because I thought I want to see what's out there in the world. I got to go out there and just see a little bit of something that I wasn't seeing when being in the church all my life. And so but even though I wasn't in the church, I still held to those dietary, practices. And when I found out that was shrimp, I got sick. You know what I mean when I say I got sick? That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Oh, I liked the pork ribs. Okay. So I did back then, but I was young then. I was like in my 20s. Okay, but haven't eaten any of that since my early 20s. But what I will tell you, um, but even with the chicken, I had the inflammation. And, you know, they were they were saying that they were pushing hormones into the cows, the pork, all of that, hormones and antibiotics and everything. And now they're not doing it as much because of people are aware, and when people push back and say don't put this stuff in our foods, we don't want all this garbage in our foods. We already taken a chance of eating it, but then you want to add these additives and you want to add all of this toxins and chemicals and this and that preservatives and all this stuff, and expect for me to eat it and consume it and be okay with it. No, I'm not okay with it. So they I stopped eating that a long time ago. So, but what I was saying is when I was eating all of that, I don't know about you all, but me, this sister, stayed constipated. I know that ain't a pretty subject to talk about, but I could not go. And so that was the other thing that happened when I was eating, flesh and from an animal. And then the other thing is my skin was bad. I had acne, especially on my back. Like what it has to do with my back, but it was all I had all kind of spots on my back, face, everything. Not terribly bad, but I had it. But here's the thing, real quick. I said I was going to be quick. When I became vegan, I, you know, all of that vanished. And it's because, as I was telling you, when you become vegan and when you eliminate as much processed foods as possible, you're not incorporating all that toxins and all of that, um, all of those additives that shouldn't be in your body. So it's toxins. The toxins and all of the stuff that they're putting into the body creates acid, and it creates and the flesh alone too, it creates acid, and all of that creates inflammation. So eliminate that, eliminate inflammation, eliminate all that toxins, eliminate the clog in your brain, the fog in your brain. Eliminate it. Eliminate all of that. You eliminate again toxins, because I'm eating every day. I eat fiber. It's nothing that I don't eat that does not have fiber, and I eat as less. I don't eat sugar. I'm not a sugaraholic anymore, you know, and so everything I'm eating is mostly natural sugar. Rarely do I do anything, and sometimes cane sugar, very very small. No other kind of sugar. I don't do sugar because I know how that affects my immune system and it affects other things in my body. So don't do that. And then look at my skin compared to what it used to be. It's so much brighter. So those are the things. And for now, Sister Bridge loves you. Sister Bridge speaks. Tune in again. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And until next time, Sister Bridge.